Alright, good morning. My second take of this video. Ran out of memory apparently. Fleetwood and Derby, English League One. Well, having a look at yesterday. First thing, Genoa. Could have been a trade there, but the Genoese not tending towards that second goal. And Bologna tending to not concede that second goal at home. So real straightforward that one. A nice 1-1 equaliser there. English FA Cup, wouldn't have played myself, so up to you if you played that or not. A couple of, just the 1-0 at half time. Tottenham and Burnley could have laid that draw second half. Coupe de France, couple of angles. Metz scoring first against Clermont. Clermont in the top flight, but 2.35 the favourite. Tough match to predict. Pau against Nantes. Pau scoring first. French League Nantes getting the win, 1-4. Very quiet day really yesterday, but troubling for Besiktas. Third consecutive 1-3 home defeat. Very strange indeed. And we also had Sporting Lisbon doing what 1.25 shots do. 2-0 and a 5-1. The first goal 20th minute. So possibility there. Did Boavista score first yesterday? No, they didn't, so there wasn't really a trading angle there. Could have laid the late draw with that very late Boavista red card. On to today. I've done some English League 1, English League 2. Fleetwood against Derby. Fleetwood at bottom of the league. Derby are excellent. Only one defeat since the 31st of October. You've got to be favouring Derby County here today. The odds do look justified. Derby, quick finishes in the last quarter of an hour of each half, so watch out for that as well. Burton against Wickham, 2.3 the favourite, leave that alone. Cheltenham against Portsmouth. Cheltenham's wins have only started coming since the 21st of October. I'm not sure which Cheltenham will turn up. They're unbeaten and they've only lost one of the last 7 home matches, Cheltenham, but they do struggle against the top 3, so that might have you favouring Pompey today. Only 2 defeats all season for Portsmouth. No major panic with 2-1 defeat and a 0-0 draw in the last 2 away matches. They're unbeaten home and away against 11th and lower, and that's the key stat, given they're playing one of the sides from the bottom half. You've got to be favouring Pompey here today, but just remember, Cheltenham are in good recent form, but that doesn't translate to the top 3. Exeter against Carlisle. Exeter have 2 wins at home against strugglers, 20th and lower, and they're playing 22nd today, slightly favouring them, but these two are in the wrong end of the table, 21st against 22nd. So just be very careful, please. Trust issues. Leyton Orient against Blackpool. 2 sides not showing any form. Leyton Orient failed to beat a top 11 side. Blackpool, in playing 12th today, have failed to beat a side 11th and lower. It's one of those fast show matches, this one. I'll get me coat. Port Vale and Charlton, 2.5 the favourite. Harrogate, Doncaster, 2.45 the favourite. We will give these short shrift, particularly in the lowly leagues that they're in. Barrow against Tranmere. Only 1 defeat for Barrow since the 7th of October. Came in the last match away at Wrexham. 3 consecutive home wins. Ended with 2 consecutive score draws. They're unbeaten in 11 at home, Barrow. They've scored in the last 10 matches and the last 5 at home. They're really solid, aren't they? As to Tranmere, in equally good form recently, only 1 defeat since the 11th of November, 4 consecutive wins, 2 consecutive away wins, but 7 defeats and a 2-2 draw away against the top 12. Puts that good form into context. You've got to be favouring Barrow here today on that form. Bradford and Crawley. Crawley, it's difficult to decide which Crawley turns up. The one that can beat 10th 0-2 away, or the one that can lose 6-0 to 16th. Which Crawley turns up today. It's very difficult when you have unreadable teams like that. And we've got unreadable form for Bradford as well. 3 wins came against the top 16, were 1-0 wins only. They've not scored that second goal at home against the top 16. So they might be vulnerable if they score today. So 1.73 looks a little bit too short for me for Bradford. Mansfield and Crewe. Mansfield only the 1 defeat all season. Mansfield unbeaten at home, 2+ goals in the locker when they need it. 2-2 last time these two met would be the best case scenario for Crewe today, who have conceded 2 goals at home. So they're likely to do the same away. That would be the inference. Mansfield have scored in the last 12, really favoured here today. Salford against Forest Green, another one of these I'll get me coat matches. Two sides really struggling. We all know about Forest Green. Now if you're a 2.25 odds against Forest Green, it's telling you're not that good. Salford going through a bit of a poor run at the moment. Salford City have the better of the two head-to-heads. That was away. Remember at Forest Green, so you'd be slightly favouring them on that, but two sides and very difficult to trust. Swindon against Colchester. Swindon are favoured here today on that 100% win record at home against 11th and lower. They just seem to find that win. They are unbeaten home and away against teams below them in the league. This is 16th against 22nd. The head-to-heads favour Colchester United. But at home, Swindon could be different. Both sides, it must be said, coming to this match in pretty poor recent form. So do lay any late draw as well. We're off to Italian Serie A. Inter Milan thoroughly deserve their 1.14 quote. They tend to lead at half-time, tend to win 2-0 against strugglers. They place 17th today. They beat 18th and lower away from home without conceding. 7 goals scored in the last 15 minutes of home matches for Inter. They're ticking every single box. Verona have just the 1 win since the 1st of September. 3 wins in all this season, 2 of them coming in the first 2 matches of the season. It's poor stuff. You've got to be favouring Inter Milan. Frosinone and Monza, you leave that to the in-play stats. Lecce and Cagliari almost leave that to the in-play stats. Let's have a look. Favoured on, let's say, Lecce are favoured on their consistent unbeaten home form home and away against 11th and lower, and their 3 wins and 4 home matches against 12th and lower. This is 13th against 18th, so you've got to be favouring them on that basis. And I hope you can read through the misspellings here. Lichat, Colliery, it's all phonetic because I'm doing speech to text software, but I'll try to change these ones a little bit later. Sassuolo and Fiorentina, 4 defeats in 5 matches for Sassuolo, 2 consecutive 1-2 home defeats. So they're scoring and conceding. They have conceded in the last 18 matches. You'd have to be favouring Fiorentina today, but a 1-0 scoreline is very difficult to continue. That's their recent run at the moment. 4 clean sheets in 5 matches. They do need the clean sheets if you're winning 1-0. But as soon as you concede a goal, for example, against Roma, that ended 1-1, and your 1-0 hopes are dashed. So for me, it's folly trying to keep up a 1-0 win sequence. You look at Everton, once they start conceding, then they start getting into trouble. Portuguese Primeira Liga, Estrela against Vizela, 2.45 the favourite, leave that to in-play stats. Firenze against Gil Vicente. Well, it's a possibility that Firenze could do some scoring, but no win in 4 for them. They are unbeaten home and away against 13th and lower, playing 14th today. 1-3 away win against 13th, 3-4 away win against 16th, so they could score plenty of goals today with home advantage, so do watch out, particularly if Gil Vicente score first. Would be slightly favouring Firenze on the possibility they could fill the boots. Arouca against Benfica, 1.4 Benfica. It was 1.4 Porto yesterday, they only managed a 1-1. Confidence boosting 3 wins in 4 matches for Arouca. 2-2 and 3-0 home win in the last 2 home matches. Let's score 2+ goals in each of the last 4. Opponents do, though, tend to score first at home in Arouca matches. 10th against 2nd, Arouca have 2-1-0, 2-1 defeats at home against 4th and 6th, a 1-1 draw away against 3rd, and a 2-1 loss away against 1st. So they might keep things respectable against Benfica. Benfica have only lost their first match of the season, 3 clean sheets in the last 4. It's brewing up to be a nice title race in Portugal. No defeat in 14. They do tend to score first away from home. No opponent has led in a Benfica match at half time. So if Arouca are leading and early, you might want to take them on in the half-time market. Braga against Guimarães. Well, we normally expect goals where Braga is concerned, and they certainly brought them last time. Braga, though, have yet to beat a top 8 side at home, so this is a fascinating match. They're playing Guimarães, 4th against 5th. Braga have drawn against 1st, lost 0-1 to 2nd, and lost 1-2 at 8th at home. They haven't played 3rd to 7th at home yet. It's a bit of a question mark about how they'll perform against 5th in the league. So 1.44 is rather dismissive of Guimarães.